Hey gang, Primal Punch here, Django here, coming at you with just some talk on solo training for real life fights. Okay, um, there's a lot of contention. When I say contention, it's mostly the folks saying that you cannot solo train and be effective in a real life fight, and that's untrue. Okay, now, can you solo train and win a boxing match? No. No, you cannot. Can you solo train and win an MMA match? No, you cannot. But these are different things, okay? Out here on the street, in life, fights are not as they are when you're on a mat. I've got this because I tend to go off on rambles, and I want to make sure that I hit some salient points here. Now, that is not to say that you can solo train, never have been in a fight, and then go beat someone who is an experienced fighter, okay? But what you can do is make yourself far more effective in a street fight against your average brawler type fighter, and etc. It's going to require differing levels of commitment on your part depending on how far you want to take that, okay, and how effective you want to be in a fight. Some of the things to remember that fool a lot of people up. All right, they'll foul you up. When you get into a fight in real life, and a fight or flight response kicks in, and you'll find yourself short of breath, gassing out quickly because you burned through your adrenaline reserves very quickly. One way to help mitigate that, should you find yourself in a confrontation, in a fight, is right now, you can begin to retrain the physiological response. All right, retrain your body, and that way your adrenaline isn't just going to dump. You're not going to just gas out within a few seconds, you know, muscles stiffening up and everything. So one way to do that is anytime you find yourself in any level of confrontation, even if it's just something as simple as telling a cashier, you know, you got my change wrong, or this was overcharged. Imagine yourself, you'll need to imagine yourself in a confrontation, and imagine that going to a physical level. All right, and then just control your physical response. Okay, your stomach muscles, your abdominal muscles are going to want to tighten up, but I want you to go ahead and breathe into your stomach at that point. Anytime you find yourself in a day-to-day situation, a confrontation where you feel that physiological response begin, this is common, this happens to us, it's a stress response. Okay, anytime you feel that stress response, I want you to control it and own it, all right? And one of the biggest parts of that is breathing into your stomach, okay? Disallowing that tightening, and you're going to own it, all right? Anytime you're startled, here's another way to override this physical response and own it, okay? Retrain it to be useful. If you're startled, it's the body's natural inclination for the hands to kind of flatten out, your eyes get wide, you're ready to run, right? So instead, anytime you're startled, even if it's a second late, a delayed reaction, I want you to clench your fists and squint your eyes, okay? And drop your chin, okay? And if there's nobody around, go ahead and put yourself into some semblance of a fighting stance, okay? So we'll start to retrain that physiological response, and that's going to help us control the mental response, the emotional response. Like these birds building a nest up here, I tore it down twice, but you know, as they're starting to build it, they just kept going. So now, build your nest on my porch. So that not owning or not being able to mitigate that initial fear response, that fight or flight, will sap your endurance. And so it's important to work on that, okay? This is all a part of your solo training for a real life fight. I know, maybe this seems boring to you, but this is all very important because every one of these is a tool in your toolbox. It's a brick in the foundation, all right, of a strong fighter. The shock of a hit, all right. This is one of the biggest things that's very difficult to solo train for. Is we can, we can punch a heavy bag or a focus pad or whatever you might have, our homemade punching pad. You can hit that all day long, but it doesn't get you ready for that first hit. When you get hit and that, you get hit in the head and there's that smoky taste in your mouth and you see stars a little bit and there's that pain there. You've and again, depending on your level of commitment, you can keep yourself prepared for at least the feeling of a hit, by practicing just striking yourself, in the abdomen with whatever you have. Strike yourself in the ribs. I don't recommend whacking yourself in the head with a stick, like that. You keep it at a level where it's intelligent, but also you want to be prepared for these things, so it's not as much of a surprise. Getting hit, man, it's something else. Okay. Now that being said, we of course want to work on not getting hit or rolling with punches. Okay, rolling with them. Not getting hit is your best option. So practicing for that is very difficult. Some simpler ways that you can do this is by hanging tennis balls from somewhere and just try and get them swinging and just move through the tennis balls and work on not getting hit. It gets you working on your timing and everything. Doing deep knee bends is really an important part of this. But rolling with punches basically is exactly what it sounds like. Okay. If you're in a position where you're not able to slip a punch completely, get out of its way, then your next best is to go with the punch, okay? Where you allow your body to go in the direction of the hit while blocking it. So you minimize and absorb some of that impact with your movement, all right? And again, you can work on these with the tennis balls, okay? So if you see that you're not going to be able to slip one, just get your arm up and try to roll with it. And third best is just a plain block, man, where you take everything. There's really no rolling with it. Now all of those, the slip, the rolling with the punch, and the blocks should all be just one step toward a hit. Everything should lead to a strike, okay? Because here, you're solo training. The most important part of this is going to be your mindset, all right? And it needs to be a mindset of just a kind of unrestrained savagery, okay? The kind of savagery that you see when two cats fight, all right? You're going to have to get it in your mind, all right, that fights are real. You can get permanently damaged in a fight, and that if someone is willing to fight you, there is a good chance that they're willing to cripple or kill you, all right? So you need to get that into your head. You need to be prepared to just unleash your maximum level of violence, all right? Maximum level of physical violence. And here we're dealing with unarmed fisticuffs, all right? Close quarters combat without weaponry. That's a whole nother thing, and I'm a firm believer in the situational awareness and good sprinting speed as the best defense technique against an armed assailant. That's not a firearm, of course. It's broad, giving them a barn door, but again, situational awareness for that. This is all about unarmed scrappage, all right? So that mindset, you have to have your mindset, and there's really no easy way to get yourself into that mindset, aside from just a sheer force of will. You have to be willing to impose your will upon yourself, okay? And look at the world in shades of threats. This is a good way to help yourself into that mindset. As you're out in the world and you look at people, I want you to rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, threat levels, okay? 5 being the most dangerous, 1 being, least dangerous. And, look at a lot of different things. How they carry a pocket knife, is it clipped, how do they walk? You can look for knuckle scars, scars around the eyes, signs of a fighter. Look for shifty eyes. Look at all these things, okay? But viewing the world in shades of threat will help you get into a combative mindset. So that's just another little trick, okay? Punching, all right? Out here in the real world, unarmed, close quarters combat, almost every time ends with a punch to the head. All right, 99% of the time ends with a punch to the head. All right, and that's discounting the times when both fighters are so gassed out that all they can do is gasp and say, don't make me do that again. Nothing really happened, just a bunch of rolling. Train your punch, all right? There are a ton of great tutorials on how to throw a good punch, all right? It all comes down to getting your body behind it, all right? Twisting from the ground, thighs, hips, waist, shoulders, just getting everything moving, all right? Everything moving, kinetic linking. Look those tutorials up. I've got some tips and tricks on punching that you might find helpful. You can search my videos. We already talked about avoiding or taking a punch. And you can look up these things individually, and find great tutorials on each of these individual things. But you will want to take each of these things very seriously. And this list is by no means exhaustive. I haven't hit everything, but these are what I consider to be very important points. Leg kicks, all right? You have to consider those, all right? For myself, once I know that a fight is going to happen, I just go maximum damage right away. I just throw. I get inside, and there's not going to be any kicking, and like that. I just try to move too fast and hard for there to be any kind of kicking or grappling going on. Just smash them out, So avoidance of leg kicks, there's again going to be tutorials on that, but really your lead leg is in the most danger when it comes to leg kicks. And leg kicks are not as fast as a punch, so you should be able to practice for those, just by, again, imagining, and you get your leg up, turn your calf out to the kick, all right? You know how to flex your calf by pointing your toes down. You flex that calf and just kind of take that kick, but, get your foot up off the ground so it doesn't take your knee, your foot's not planted. Just get it up and you can fall forward with that block. So you'll be taking that leg kick closer into their knee, and you just come forward and you can use that as your falling punch and at least bridge that distance, which is the next thing we're talking about. Bridging distance. If you know a fight's going to happen, get in tight and just try to control it, all right? Just try to control it with just flurries, punches and bunches, okay? And we'll talk about a few of the different kinds of punches here that you're going to want to work on. Just stick this here. I should have worn my hat. All right. You've got your jab, and you've got your crosses and everything like that. But I'm not going to work too much on trying to give you the differentiation between a straight punch and a cross and like that. What I am going to tell you that you need to work on getting your body moving into your punches, okay? So that you can get maximum damage in a minimum amount of range, in a limited range of motion. And what that means is you want to be turning your body into the punch before that punch ever launches. So we've already got all this going, all right? All this meat in motion. And then this is the delivery device, all right? So in bridging distance, jab is generally your best bet. All right, and it's just that good old falling step. Hopefully you can see this, and it's just a long step forward, okay? And then you'll immediately pull that back foot up so that you've got your stance back, good solid stance. And in stances, you don't want to be squared off directly against them, because you imagine your feet are 2 points of a triangle. That third point is going to be your weakest as far as balance, okay? And balance is very important. So, and that's why we always have one leg leading a little bit. So our point is over here, not facing our opponent, all right? And that's why we want to circle. We want to keep strong in our balance and be able to move our feet, all right? Bridging the gap, that's your best, is the falling step in a jab, okay? Immediately followed by more punches. So we bridge distance with a long punch. We get in tight where we're good now. And they're going to, you know, if they're going to back up, whatever they're going to do, I want you to stay in tight. Just keep moving forward. They can't move backwards as fast as you can move forward. All right? And keep your hands moving. Never stop to see the effect of your strike. You know, like we don't throw one and just wait and see. You'll see that a lot of times where guys think it's going to be like on television. They throw one punch, the other guy shakes it off, and now, you know, anything can happen. So once we're inside, it's going to be close-in punches, okay? We want to get just a maximum amount of damage in. So your close-in punches, depending on where your opponent's shoulders are, where their hands are, you know, that's gonna give you the list of what you're going to be throwing at this time, okay? So, Amy, leave it. Get out of there. Leave it. Dog's always in stuff. So, shovel hooks, all right? These are a very powerful inside punch, and you kind of are going to use your body to brace the elbow so that you've got this stiff, just a stiff spear where you're going to drive that in, okay? And you can get these up into a ducked chin, all right? You keep those in tight, and you've got your guard, you've got your ribs covered, you've got your head tucked in tight, and you're close in. There's really not much they can do until they create some distance, all right, if you're inside. Your hooks, you got to work on your hooks, okay? You can throw these from right here, okay? And this is another one where you need your body moving before you even drop that, all right? You'll feel like a catch. You're turning, and it should happen fast, okay? And one of the differences between boxing with gloves on and fighting on the street, something that's very important to remember, is head punches can break your hands. Elbows can break your hands, all right? Aside from knees, very little else on the human body will break your hands. The head and the elbows. Got to stay away from those, okay? You want hard to soft. All right? Hard to soft, you know, like that. So stay away from elbows, stay away from the head. And when you throw your punches, Amy, leave it. Get out of there. I'm not going to tell you again. I'm going to put you inside. Come on. Sorry, gang. Where was I? Yeah, boxing. You'll see the turnover punch, okay? And that is really not skeletally correct for bare knuckle fighting, okay? You really do want a straight line between these knuckles and your elbow as much as possible, okay? And that's very difficult to do with this kind of punch. This kind of punch, bare knuckle, only has an effective range, a distance of maybe that much. Because here, it's not going to hit with much, and once you reach here, you're done. It's dumping all its energy into your own tendons, okay? And that's why you'll see the bare knuckle styles were vertical landing punches mostly, okay? And you want to come at angles when you're hitting hard areas, okay? So you want to go into a cheek, and like that, okay? Now with the body, hit however you want, because the body's not going to bust your hands up. Um, but if you're going to be throwing a hook close in, I really recommend coming like this, okay? Just really, really keep it tight. Your arm's never going to be more than a 90. You practice these, and this is a punch that you turn your body into, okay? Your lead toe should turn the ground like you're putting out a cigarette, okay? And so that hook, when we're throwing it bare hand, I really don't advise turning your hand all the way parallel to the floor, okay? Because you've got a really great chance of busting your smallest knuckles. I really prefer like this, alright? You've got a better chance of keeping your hand intact, and I feel like it delivers more energy bare hand. Just some simple punches, okay? Work on your punches. There are tutorials for every kind of punch. Look them up, get your body moving. Check out my ZFJ workout. That really helps you get your body moving into everything. Highly recommend it. Talked about mindset, bridging distance. We talked about changing the fear response, physical actions, combat stance instead of a flight stance. Beyond that now, it's going to come down to strengthening the muscles used for punching, okay? And you can do that a myriad of ways, without spending any money. Now, focus pads or focus ball, anything that's going to let you work on that hand-eye coordination. The simplest, and I used it for years, is just a piece of heavy string or a rope with a knot in the very end, okay? And leave a little bit of a flutter at the end, and that way it'll zig and zag on you, it'll move more. You just hang it from a doorway, anywhere, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Alright? This is just things to help you. Things to help you. See, you just got yourself a darn string there, and I don't even have a knot in this, but you just work it, man. Work around and practice those different punches, okay? And that will help with your hand-eye coordination. And again, these are not like magic tricks or magic bullet or anything that's gonna suddenly make you like Bruce Lee or something. This is just to help you be more effective should you find yourself in a situation where you have to fight. You spend the time doing these and you will put yourself above the average person, well above the average troublemaker, okay? If you guys are interested and you feel like you'd like me to go in depth on anything, just let me know and I'll do my best. And if you have the money, then definitely choose a martial art, choose boxing. I really think that boxing is your best preparation for street fighting. But if you have the money for that, if you don't, that doesn't mean that you cannot become an effective fighter. You can. The biggest thing missing is another human opponent. But that doesn't mean that your training won't make you more effective, alright? Just take the time. Take the time to do it. Push-ups are great for strengthening your punch, alright? Those use quite a few of the muscles. You'll want to work your obliques. A great way to do that is by having a heavy bucket on one side, no weight on the other, and just pull yourself level. You can do farmer's walks or just stand there and do some shallow knee bends and then switch it over, and try to keep the same amount of time on both sides. Crunches, getting those ab muscles strong, planks, alright. Your one-handed push-ups. I showed some nice cheater one-handed push-ups, and I've got those somewhere, and I call them cheaters, but in truth, they're actually far better for building punching power than your, according to Hoyle, one-armed push-ups, okay? So, and you can do these on a wall or a chair or start on your knees if need be. Okay? This is a really great one for just getting stronger, okay? For building that punching power. So we'll go ahead and just warm up a little bit. So it's just this, all right? So we're turning those obliques, and we're basically throwing a punch that doesn't have the hips and the foot grind into it, okay? It's a great one. And you can start off on your knees. You can do this on a wall, a counter, any stable surface, okay? And when I say a wall, I mean one like a short brick wall, if it makes it easier for you. Hopefully that showed up. Anyway, I'm not going to continue babbling at y'all. I'll let y'all go, but just wanted to encourage you, all right? Don't let people tell you that you can't become a more effective fighter by only solo training, because it is untrue, categorically untrue, all right? So, live free, punch hard, and be good to yourselves, because you're worth it, and I dig you, okay? And thank you for hanging out with me. Catch y'all later.